Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to South Sioux Community Schools, and welcome to our District Administration Building. I'm Todd Strom, Superintendent. Our cabinet members are with us today, and we'll be providing our morning report. Just wanted to make everyone aware, we did get a Let's Talk comment. There is closed captioning available for this broadcast. So for the hearing impaired, and then also for those of you that may just want to watch and access the closed captioning, if you happen to be watching at home or in a work setting where you can't have the sound on, please click on the closed captioning option on the bottom. Where is it located at, Lance? It's towards the...
They just hover their mouse down towards the bottom of the screen. There should be a CC pop up.
Okay, very good. So anyway, welcome. I'd like to start off our morning by introducing Becky Eckhart, our Director of Student Services, and she'll give us a few updates.
Good morning, everybody. I did get the update this morning from our Emergency Operations Center and Dakota County Health. Currently in Nebraska, we have 155 lab confirmed cases of the COVID-19 virus. We have experienced 3 state deaths due to the coronavirus at this point, and our thoughts and prayers go out to the families affected by that. Currently in our county, Dakota County, we have 0 lab confirmed, and as I mentioned yesterday, many of our providers, physicians, are screening patients and may or may not elect to administer the assessment or the test for the coronavirus and instead encourage their patients to self-isolate if they're showing symptoms. So that's really up to the individual providers to determine that. At this point, we have 0 lab confirmed in Dakota County.
Thank you, Becky. And also just an update from the governor. The governor is giving his updates each day, and the latest update, there's a little explanation from him on what his direction has been regarding directed health measures for counties, health departments that are affected and impacted by some of those confirmed cases. They may be under a governor's directed health measure. We are currently not under a directed health measure. If we would be placed under a directed health measure in the future, what that does is it imposes an enforceable limit on public gatherings. And among other steps, the DHM would require restaurants and bars in these areas to close their dining areas immediately and move to a takeout service, delivery and or curbside service only until further notice. And like I said, we are not under that measure, but if we would be placed under that measure, schools in those areas are directed to operate without students in their buildings. We currently are not operating with students in our buildings, even though we aren't under a directed health measure. But the restriction does not apply to staff. That's the school staff are able to work in the school buildings, and as you know, we had a successful day yesterday welcoming back many of our staff and rolling out some online learning. So we will continue to do that. The restriction does not apply to those school staff working in the buildings, and it does not apply to daycares that may be operated at a school for the governor's executive order for childcare. One thing that we want to make sure we stress always regarding when you for our staff, for parents, for students, is that social distancing. We're doing our best to provide as many services as we can, but we want our employees to be safe. We want our community members to be safe, at least 6 foot apart. And as we mentioned yesterday, please don't be offended. We are going to ask you to maintain that just for the safety of our school district, our community, and the state and the nation. And we have to all work together to flatten that curve. So wherever you're at, whether it's home, whether it's in school, whether it's in the grocery store, if you have to go out for essential things, please help enforce that social distancing. And we will do our best as leaders to do the same. At this time, we talked about yesterday being a great day. It's one of our celebrations that we share here in our cabinet meeting this morning. We like to start our meetings with celebrations, and that's a big one. Much work came to fruition yesterday, and it's because of all the preparation and work that was done by our great staff and the engagement from our students and your input on your surveys and your emails. Continue to check all those. But we had a great rollout for our continuity of learning plan yesterday, and I'll let Tracy Howman, our Director of Curriculum Instruction and Assessment, talk about some of that.
Good morning, everyone. Yes, very exciting. As of 3 p.m. yesterday, we had about 75% of our high school students check in. I have not looked into it since then, but again, that's what that needs to look like. We're thrilled and 100% thrilled with 75% check-in by 3 p.m. yesterday. And because of the way we are conducting business with online learning, it would be completely fine if students checked in later after that and viewed their recorded lessons at that time. So we are absolutely thrilled with that statistic, and we look for more success in the coming days. If you have not yet checked in, I strongly encourage you to do that as soon as possible.
Tracy, if I could just interrupt for just a bit, that's an important point. I think that's a question out there from our students and parents. I have a student at home, as you know, and yes, we're keeping score. So you need to show up for class, and on a virtual online classroom, that means checking in. It doesn't necessarily have to be live, but you need to check in and get that lesson, watch the lesson if it's a virtual lesson, check into the assignments, and then eventually we would like to do a little more than maybe some other districts are doing. We want to make sure you have the education you need to move on to the next grade level, to pursue your graduation plans, and that involves some type of evidence and feedback on your curriculum. And so we are going to eventually move to some sort of grading and feedback. It's a little more difficult at the elementary level, but at the middle school and high school level, you can expect that as a student. So please stay up on your grades, and if you know friends, neighbors, classmates that haven't checked in, that's a high number. It's much higher than many districts that I know are moving to virtual online learning. But it's also very important, because if for the 25% that haven't checked in, we're moving ahead. You need to help those people out or let them know they need to contact us. Sorry to interrupt, but thank you, Tracy.
No, that's fine. Good message. Yes. Our next thing we'll start looking at and hopefully be able to report out some great success with is the rate of student work that's been turned in by the end of this week. So we're checking in with our teachers on that as well. We will also potentially send out a little Google survey for students towards the end of the week, maybe early next week, and ask what's working for you, what could be better. Our goal here is to take down some barriers and make sure that you get the preparation and the skills you need to be prepared for what comes next. So this is really about your education, and so we want to get your feedback on how that's going for you. Anyone else, again, like Mr. Schramm said, middle school, high school, if you have not checked in, please do so immediately. Look at your email, call the school, contact your teacher in any way that you normally have. We will provide options for other students down the road, but I have to say those options do not get more appealing. This is really the best option.
Yes.
Get going right now and keep up with it. Middle school will begin online learning next week, Monday, April 6th. For 6th graders, I'd like to let Drew Stansberry speak about how we're going to distribute the Chromebooks for you, and he can describe what that process will look like.
Thank you. So yeah, we're working on a plan to get Chromebooks out to 6th graders. Right now, we're thinking that next Monday, April 6th from 10 to 2, and next Tuesday, April 7th from 3 to 6, we'll offer kind of a grab and go Chromebook checkout, similar to the lunch grab and go situation that we have. We'll probably do that outside of door number 1 at the middle school, and look for some more information to come. So be checking your email for that. We would ask that the student would be present for that so we can associate the Chromebook with that student. And if you haven't already, continue to fill out that survey and check your emails for more updates.
And as far as instruction for 6th grade, we will start primarily with learning about that online learning. What does that look like? What are the expectations of students? How do they navigate some of those tools if they have not been used to those in the past? That will likely continue for most 6th graders through the first week and then begin actual instruction the following week. Happens to be Easter weekend in between there, so instructional responsibilities and things like that will begin on Tuesday, April 14th for 6th grade. For 7th and 8th grade, you should have the downloaded packet work right now. We continue that, and they will begin instruction on Monday, potentially also with those teachers as they so deem appropriate, beginning with some instruction about navigating that online learning environment as well. We know that some students in 7th and 8th grade, since they've already had a Chromebook this year, will have some of those skills already and may not need that review, others may. So they will potentially begin with learning about learning online, and then they'll start instruction this coming week. And I've had a couple continuing questions about accessing internet, so I think we can't say that one enough either. Local providers like Long Lines and Sparklight are providing free or no cost for a short period of time, potentially 60 days or whatever, internet access. If you do not have internet access or know somebody who needs it, please feel free to contact the local providers and ask what they can do. A lot of that depends on if you already had service and things like that. We can't speak for them, but please do reach out. Another option that we've provided, and Drew can also speak to this, we have expanded massively our Wi-Fi reach into the high school student parking lot.
Yeah, so we added some access points outside of the high school. And so the student parking lot on the west side of the high school is like one big hotspot. So you can drive there and get on the internet as well with your Chromebook.
So if you need to access Wi-Fi, please know if you don't have access to it during the week, that is just fine. We think for most of our students, we can find some opportunities to get Wi-Fi at home. But please know that you can continue to just stay in your car, come park even once a week in that parking lot right behind the high school where students normally park, and you can download and upload assignments and things like that as you need to. So we're trying to cover all our bases and provide as many options as possible.
Fantastic. See a few chat questions popping up there, Lance. Do you have any that aren't answered that we're going to talk
I think
about?
we've kind of answered them, but it's, I know a student had asked about seeing their therapist. I think a teacher responded that they need to reach out to their therapist on email.
Okay.
Or if they don't have the email, your teacher, email one of your teachers, they can get it for you possibly. We can look into that too. Thank you. Someone asked about the numbers in Nebraska. Obviously, more specifically, Dakota County. We don't know the number tested in Dakota County, and I just responded with that. If and when we know, we'll share that. Someone then put Iowa has tested 3 times, or Nebraska's tested about 3 times less than Iowa. But of course, Iowa has 1 million more people than Nebraska too, so that goes back.
Yeah. Very good. I see one question pops up there that says, so does this mean we are extended past April 14th? Not at this time. We are still looking at the timelines that we've set, and we'll announce if that extension happens. So thank you for that. But that's a good message to our students. School's in session, like I said before. School has not stopped. So school's in session. It's virtual. So you have to find a way to contact your teacher, and then that probably most likely would be by email. You can jump on, when you do have your virtual classes going and visit with them also in other ways. But for the middle school students that may have questions, feel free to reach out to your teachers or administrator by email. Okay.
So should I talk about the parade now?
Yeah, we don't have any HR business updates at this time. We may this afternoon. And then Lance will talk about the communication piece. So Lance Swanson, take it away, please.
No, I think everybody's familiar with the parade today, but just as a reminder, I think the teacher parade is going to be from 1 to 2 and out in the neighborhoods. Some of the different building levels have shared on their social media pages exactly their routes, but it looks like they've got the majority of their area covered. A couple of the buildings have a geographical area that's a little bit larger. I'm going to just pick on Covington for an example, has a really large spread out area, so they're probably not going to be able to hit every street, but they did share a map on their social media of where they're going to go. So that's a perfect example. We want to check that out to make sure, the map, the weather looks like it's going to be clearing off by there, and if it hasn't already. I saw the sun was kind of coming up with some heavier clouds, but
Yeah.
I've been inside most of the morning. But it looks like the weather's going to hold out, is what I'm saying. So it'll be fun. I think we just have to keep reminding our staff and our students and parents to practice good social distancing. There'll probably be some media around and out there today, and we hope to share our fun event, but we don't want to put anybody at risk. So please practice good social distancing.
Yeah, that's a fantastic message, Lance. We are excited to get out into the community, to have the parades, to get to see our students and parents, and yeah, a good message to all those. Everybody wants to high five and hug and all. We're just going to have to put that on hold for a while. And then a message to our staff too. We want you guys to be healthy. Please do not, put several individuals in a vehicle. Keep your distance from each other. Make sure that students and parents are at a safe distance, and because it is a community event, that's even probably more important today, is the social distancing piece. So please share your goodwill with each other, but do so at a safe distance.
Yeah, so somebody just posted on there too, thanking the elementary principals and folks that helped plan these parades. They did a lot of hard work has gone into this, and detailed planning, and we certainly appreciate that. And I think it's a much needed event to reach out, share that we're still there and we love everybody and care about them, and just be back to normal before too long. I did for teachers and staff, certified staff in general, I sent out a quick little survey that I'd appreciate your help with, that the STAR's doing a little story this week on just kind of everybody adapting to the new classroom, the way we're going to try and do school here, and it's been really successful so far, and we're going to continue just to make changes and get better. But I think it'd be fun to share some of your little pictures you have of your setup, or maybe you working from home, and then just answer a couple questions if you will. It's totally optional, but I appreciate any feedback and sharing that you can do. Once again, that link was emailed out, and if you can't find it, let me know.
All right, very good. Thank you, Lance. We also have Doyle Smith, our Director of Maintenance, with us. Any updates, Doyle? Are you guys working hard?
You guys are working hard. Paras were working hard yesterday. Everything's looking good, and we're cleaning business as usual.
Very good. Thank you. Once again, that social distancing message, I know we're all trying to help spread that message, and sometimes it crosses over into enforcement almost even. So please don't be angry if supervisor or administrator, director tries to help us keep that distance if you're on our school grounds or in our facilities. We're definitely going to try to model it, as you can see, but we're also going to help people recognize it. So it's a different way of going about our business and our daily lives, but so very important for our health and for helping get through this time. So thank you.
Yeah, I think just to reiterate, there's about 2% of the people are, once in a while, I think they just forget, and you're so used to giving a quick little hug or a pat on the shoulder or whatever, and we've all done it, and then I just have to be reminded of oops, or whatever. And so the bad news is we get some let's talk and some other feedback that people aren't following the guidelines as well, and of course that seems to be what they focus on, and so we just have to be cognizant of that, and I appreciate everybody's help.
Yeah. It takes two. So if one's not social distancing, Or if the other.
Hopefully the other remembers, yeah.
Yeah.
So if someone kind of runs away from you,
Which is the story of my life. So I'm used to that, Lance. So not a change for me. All right. Very good. Is there any other updates from the group, from the cabinet? Like Erin will have an update. We had a great lunch distribution again yesterday, but she'll update us on that Thursday again, and if there's any other improvements that are needed there. But just keep communicating. We appreciate that. Send us your questions. Contact your teachers if you're a student. You should be receiving some messages, especially high school kids. You're in school, and middle school kids, it's coming soon. So keep up the good work. Have a great day. Get your schedule and your routine down, and make sure it's one that provides success for you. And if you need help with that, please reach out to your teacher, your principal. We have all kinds of great tips on how to be successful during this time. So have a great day, and we'll see you again at 4 o'clock.